Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, pimps and simps, welcome back to the Mac Life, the #1 podcast here in the world, back for episode 129. And if you're new to the channel, we have absolutely everything to do with growing your brand online, monetizing that brand, okay, marketing for OnlyFans creators, and management, so how to manage ladies' OnlyFans account. And that's pretty much going to be the preference of today's video, or the crux of what we're getting into is, essentially we're going to be looking at what actually is OnlyFans agencies' roles. What do they do? How can you start an OnlyFans agency? How much money can be made? And if you got hit with the clickbait title about making $6,000 a day, that is not clickbait in any means. I'm actually going to show you one of our members inside the Hive who recently just hit a $6,500 day. And essentially we're going to break down how much money can be made with OnlyFans, why you should be starting OnlyFans, and if you're a lady watching this, okay, why you should be either looking for an agency to manage your OnlyFans, or some tips you need to do to grow your OnlyFans and automate it as well. So really there's a lot to get into, but if you're new to the channel, subscribe. No, if you're new to the channel, the way we do these videos is in podcast style format. So I essentially give a heap of like updates of what's going on in life, and then we get into the certain OnlyFans style topics at the end. And today, more so than just a random set of updates, is actually kind of a story that I want to guide you through. It's a bit more of a personal story as well, but it hopefully will give you some inspiration to basically change your entire life. I'm going to explain how my life changed with it. But essentially, okay, we want one little update that I have here is the Instagram verification is very, very close now. Putting up the last posts. I know I've had to say this multiple times, but I feel like it's there. You know, I've been linking up the WhatsApp chats. But, you know, the dude said basically we've got 2 more posts to go today. Then I linked some Apple Music link, and then we can send off the verification. So let's fucking hope. Anyway, and as well as that, cars take so much time that you wouldn't believe. Owning a car, like soon I believe all cars will just be rented. Everyone will just rent from giant companies. They'll get dropped to your house when you need them. It'll be just a convenient system. Rather than purchasing cars unless it's for a business, because, you know, servicing, tires, there's just a never-ending amount of shit that you have to do when you own cars, and it's chaos. Anyway, that's it for my updates, but we've got a story really to get into, and it's kind of to show you, okay, that none of this is bragging about the sort of lifestyle that I live, but more so how quickly you can attain a lifestyle. And I want to jump to where I am now to hopefully give you some inspiration. So at the moment, okay, I essentially have what I would call unlimited capital as long as I don't buy stupid shit. If I don't go out purchasing multiple supercars, I don't go out, you know, eating $1,000 steaks every night. Not that I couldn't get away with it for quite a while, but I essentially have the dream lifestyle that I thought of a few years ago. And when I thought of this lifestyle a few years ago, I was just as happy then as I am now. But now I don't have the stresses that keep you second guessing yourself. It makes you a lot more confident in yourself, which is really the gem of all of this. When what you thought would happen with the whole world against you, with every reason to doubt that it can, with everything saying how impossible it is, and for you to achieve that, you become so confident in yourself, and that replicates across absolutely everything that you do in life. So right now, you know, I'm able to travel where I want, whenever I want, whatever country, go see friends, spoil my friends, buy them designer gifts, do all this crazy shit, okay? But more so than that, I'm able to just work for a little bit of time on my business each day and create these podcasts. And my business is just continuing to grow exponentially. And for me, like, I look and I think, what else do you really need? That I'm not going to gain much happiness from buying stupid shit. Not that I won't make more crazy purchases over time, but it's more about experiences now. But what else do you really need? And what's the reason that I need to go out and buy, you know, different rollies or different things? People can say they're investments or whatever, but it's really just to flex on your friends, and it's really just to flex on Instagram and get a few likes. And they're not needed to make you wealthy. And I really understood this from watching Alex Hamonzi's videos recently. It's really been hammered into me that, like, you can turn over 150 million a year and still decide that, hold up, like, none of that is important because it just really means nothing. And I think you can't skip the process. I know I'm not all the way of where I could be, but you know, on the majority of weeks, turning over between businesses, you know, like even one sale of a software package can be $20,000 US in a week. And it's like, what else can you really buy once you're not worried about bills, you're not worried about what food you eat, you're not worried about, you know, the cost of gas, you're not worried about fuel or whatever the fuck, benzene, you're not worried about day-to-day shit, okay? It's just, you can just live. All the other shit is really just a flex. But too many people are like these woke people that say this, but they've never gotten to that level. So they can't 100% believe in what they're saying because they're saying it as a way to justify their insecurity and say, yeah, well, rich people aren't happy. Rich people are, you know, just as well off. What they're doing is they're saying that because they know they don't want to put in the hard work and they don't want the skills, okay, that are needed for them to actually say that from a place of experience. It's a lot easier to just say it, but you can never fully believe it until you reach that level. And like I said, none of this is just a flex on anyone. There are people that make a fuck ton more money than myself. But what you'll understand is that you build your values and you build your characteristics rather than off having money. It'll come internally. You build like, even if you were to lose all your money, okay, you build like a set of characteristics that are like, I've done this before. I've proven myself to be right. I'm like, I can have negativity there and I can always recover, whatever it is, okay? So you build like, you become just like an apex version of yourself. And like I said, none of this is to brag in any means, but imagine in your life, if you're not there at the moment, that's fine. A lot of you who watch my videos actually do make quite a bit of money. But imagine, okay, you are, you know, struggling to pay bills week to week, or a car payment comes up, you struggle with that, or, you know, whatever it is, just you can't go out when you want to go out and eat places. You're worried about like your budgeting, your food, all these basic life necessities in a developed country. How much better would it be to just be like, oh, you can wake up whatever time you want. You can travel where you want. You can go to fancy restaurants with friends. You can go do crazy experiences. You can take your friends with you. You can help your family. You can dress how you want, speak how you want. This is important to Wi-Fi bread as well. You know, if you want to get your fucking face tattooed, you can have your face tattooed and no one can tell you and it doesn't stop you from making money. You can tell people to fuck off. It's not going to affect you making money. If that's the sort of lifestyle you want, the whole purpose of today's updates are really to tell you that it can happen a lot quicker than you think. Now, I don't want you to focus on getting rich quick because it's not really about getting rich quick because it will take a lot longer than you think it will take if you're overly optimistic. Like I speak to a lot of young 18-year-old kids and they remind me of myself and they're like, I'm going to be a fucking millionaire within 2 years. You wait and see. 99% of them, they have the same energy, the same drive, hard work ethic. But, okay, they're not there within 2 years. But if they just stuck with it 10, 15, okay, they would be beyond rich. But most people, they start to give up on themselves when they don't see this taking place. Where really, the reason it's not happening that quick is there are that many hundreds of skills that you need to develop. It is impossible, okay? And the money side of things won't start to accumulate until you have acquired a skill set so broad that you don't even realize you have that skill set. So what do I mean? Like, say it's a tech company, you might not even know how to use a computer really. If you don't use a computer often, it's like, okay, you don't even understand the micro skills, like saving time, Command-C to copy. And I'm saying like the most basic shit, but it's like, this is how many things. Maybe it's touch typing. Maybe you still type like a fucking peckerbird. Okay, maybe you need to learn to touch type to increase your speed. Then you need to learn shortcuts. Then you need to understand how to use Excel. Then you need to understand, okay, how do websites work, how are websites made. Then you need to understand what traffic is. Then you need to understand how to build a landing pages. Then you would need to understand funnels. Then you need to understand email marketing. Then you need to understand sales copy that goes with that. Then you need to understand, okay, cleaning out email lists and deliverability. Okay, then you need to understand how paid traffic works. And you need to test and you need to put a bit of money into paid traffic. Then you need to understand, okay, what's the difference between video. And why I'm saying all of this like this is, and you might know a lot of these things already, but you might still not be what you consider wealthy. It's really because there are thousands upon thousands of skills that you need to develop. And then there's interpersonal skills. You need to understand persuasion. You need to understand, you know, how to handle a sales team or handle people that work for you, how you speak to people, how you conduct your payroll, how you make sure you have adequate cash flow. There are these thousands of skills that must be learnt, and that takes a significant period of time. But I don't want to discourage you because a lot of you that watch this, you may be 25, You may be 35 and you're not wealthy. You may be 45. You may even be 55, 65. But I want you to think of it like this. People say, I say to them, well, why don't you just focus on a YouTube podcast for 3 years? And they say, well, what if it doesn't work? I'll be 68. I'm 65 now. I'm 55 now. I'll be 58. I'm 25 now. I'll be nearly 30. What if it doesn't work? And I say, so what it really is, it's a fear of it not working. It's a fear of failure. I said, but what's the cost of just doing what you're doing now? Do you feel that what you're doing now is has it made you wealthy in the past 20 years? Has it made you wealthy in the past 5 years? What's the risk of trying it in 3 years' time? Say you're 25 at the moment. In 3 years' time, you're going to be 28. It doesn't matter if you try it. It doesn't matter if you don't try it. You're going to be 28 regardless. Wouldn't you have liked to have at least tried and get to 28 and say, okay, that doesn't work? And you say, well, I wasted all this time. Well, you tried. Isn't that worth the risk? And if you're thinking it's not worth the risk, business probably isn't for you if you're not willing to give it 3 years. And it sounds harsh, but business is the hardest game in the world to succeed in. It costs, 5 times as much as you think it's going to cost to get where you want to go. It's going to take 10 times longer than you think it's going to take to get where you want to go. But that's just it. It's like, but it's worth it. Because when I said at the start of this video, it can all happen quick, to me, it feels like the start of my, I would call it proper business journey, which has only been probably 4 or 5 years. I understood how to make money and I had an entrepreneurial mindset, always did little things. But dedicating to businesses and sticking within one lane, which was technology and like tech and e-com and now Onlyfans, but to all be within this same sort of amalgamation of transferable skills. Okay, it's like, it really happened quite quick. It went from, I've got the story written down here, but I want you to understand that I was so broke as a kid. I used to fucking try and get away with wearing my futsal shoes, okay, on the soccer pitch, and all I loved was soccer, and so I had to buy the cheapo boots because they wouldn't let me on with it without studded boots, which you're not allowed in football or soccer. So I'd try and get away with playing in my indoor soccer shoes because I did so much soccer and we were so cheap. Like for me to go buy a new pair of shoes, even secondhand, was like, that was money that we didn't have when I was a kid. I didn't have like crazy shit. And I've been broke. Like I used to have to walk to school to save money. My family did not come from a place of wealth. I come from a poor family, okay? Or lower middle class, we'd call it. So I didn't come from a place of privilege, and, then I made a lot of money in Sydney when I moved to Sydney, working at a call center, and I blew it all. I didn't understand that wealth is really a ratio, like Alex Hamonzi teaches. I used to spend it all doing stupid things at the club, okay, as 18-year-olds do, all juiced up on life, enjoying the Sydney nightlife, going out with all the girls and enjoying stupid weekends, doing stupid things. And so, I went through that for a long enough period and then some shit happened and then I got into different jobs and I kept getting fired from every single job that I'd had. And then finally I thought, okay, I found a job that has a long-term career or a long-term sort of plan. And I knew it wasn't for me, but at the same time I was working it and I was like, oh, there's some level of ability for it to go up. And they got liquidated and I lost my job and I lost where I was living with my friends and I had to move home with my mum and I had to move, I was 20 something and I had to move, early 20s. I had to move into my mum's spare bedroom, this tiny bedroom, like miniature, and I had no money to my name and it was fucking horrendous. I lost all my friends. I couldn't go out. I couldn't do things. I had to move away from where I was and it was just shit. And it was like, fuck, this can't be it. And within the space of then till now, it feels like I've lived 30 lifetimes with the amount of information that I've learned, but I just dedicated myself to believing what I wanted was possible. And more so, it was like having a clear plan, having a clear path and deciding, okay, this is what I want and I'm not going to settle for anything else until I get there. And that milestone will change and change and change and change over time. But it's funny for me to look back. This is the point of today's video until we get into OnlyFans stuff. It's crazy for me to look at what my milestones were, okay, and then look at them now. Now I'm looking at my current milestone and I'm like, I want, okay, one of the businesses that I'm focusing on to hit 100K, which it will do within a year or maybe a year and a half, 100K a month profit with basically no workload. And this is something that I don't even talk about. This is something that's extra. And it's like, okay, once I can get that there, that's my milestone. That's really, at this point, like I said, it's not going to change my life too much, but it's just what I'm working towards. And when I look back, it was like, imagine if I could just make one sale online and prove this works. And it took me forever to get that to happen. Like, that was just my milestone, was if I can just get it to happen once, I know it's possible. And that was my milestone. And it's funny, like, once I hit that, it was like, fuck, imagine if I could get one a week. That's like an extra $50 a week. Fuck, imagine if I could get, like, to the point, I remember one of my main milestones was like, if I could get $300 a week, you know, I could pay rent to my mum. I could give her $100 to help out. And then I would still have enough money to hang out with my friends and go out with girls and do things because I could cash up that extra $200. And then I was like, very quickly after that, I was like, fuck, imagine, you know, this $300 a week I'm making. What if I can turn that into $700? That's people's full-time fucking income. Okay, $700. Imagine if I can make $1,000. That's more than the average income. Fuck, I'm making $1,000. Imagine if I could make 2. Imagine if I could make 3. Fuck, imagine if I could make $500 a day. Fuck, that would actually be insane. Imagine if I could make $1,000 a day. Fuck, that would be insane. I've hit all these milestones. And then it progressed to the point, it's like, my ideologies just kept getting bigger. And then I remember selling my first software package at like $20,000 US. And I was like, there's no way someone will do this. Like, I know the value's there, but like, to sell that would take an enormous amount of time. And I started selling them through Instagram DMs. Not even sales phone calls. And it's like, that converts to Australian to 30-something thousand dollars just into the bank. And I was like, I remember these days and like these milestones. And it's like, it's crazy how quick everything can change. And then I know, like, a few years from now, I stick with it and I'll look back and I'll be like, fuck, remember when I was celebrating those 30K days? Now I've just hit a 300K day. And it's crazy to think, like, how quick this can all happen. And the reason that the whole point of all this shit that I've told you today is, I don't want you to give up. I don't want any one of you to give up. Whether you've had 10 failed businesses, I failed so many businesses, so many business mistakes, so many ups, so many downs, but just don't give up. It works out. It's something in the brain. And the reason that I've kind of thought about all of this today is like, just enjoy the process and don't give up, but really focus down on just being like, this is part of the story, okay? And enjoy the process, because in the past few years, I've had a lot of people that I know that I went to school with die, like they've passed away. And it's like, they didn't even get to continue on their story from now. And it's really hit home now where it's like, there are that many of them that have committed suicide or been in car accidents or had something wrong. And I look at it and I'm like, just for me to even be alive right now is a massive blessing. And just to have, if I could never have made it but got to live that much more life, would I have taken it? 100%. So just be grateful. Understand that the journey is like the enjoyment. And it will all make sense when you make more money. So with that being said, that's what we're getting into. Let's fucking show you all how to make insane amounts of money with OnlyFans, because OnlyFans is the most lucrative industry in the world. And it really leads in perfectly to tie it in, because if you don't know how the OnlyFans works, whether you're an agency or whether you're a creator, it is essentially you're just selling nude content online. Okay? And you can say, oh yeah, you can sell baking. Shut the fuck up. It's selling nude content online. OnlyFans is a platform that can be used for multiple things. But to manage OnlyFans accounts or as a creator, no one cares if you're baking in a fucking little top. Okay? People want nude content. That's what they're there for. And all you're doing as an agency is essentially finding girls who are willing to do that, okay? And then you're providing value by doing two things. You're giving them all their time back, so you're automating all their processes, and you're making them more money. Now, you make them more money by putting systems in place, like understanding pricing, okay? Understanding and delegating teams that can work 24 hours rather than only having smaller periods of time. You're doing marketing, obviously, cold marketing as well as paid marketing. And if you don't understand how any of that works, that's fine, because you can learn all those things. They're all skills. You just have to commit to the industry. And I know how profitable this industry is. You know, the amount of money I've made in this industry, and the girls that I consult with that I watch that I'm not going to be rude, but they have very limited business intelligence. But because of the opportunity vehicle that they're in, they turn over 7 figures a year. And it's like, the amount of money that can be made with the least amount of skills, okay, is massive. And to need less skills means it's going to take you a shorter amount of time to make significant amounts of money and hopefully get to the point like I was talking about in the story, or maybe even beyond me. And I want to give examples. You know, I've watched people join the hive mind. Okay, they've joined. I've seen them write, oh, I'm ready to get this, boys. And then they type, I got my first girl today. And then a week later, I made my first $1,000. Then a week later, I just made $2,500. And it's like, I think if I could have done it at that speed, I'd be sucking dick for that knowledge. Like, just to get that fucking knowledge. If I could have had that knowledge that I'm showing you all inside of the hive mind at that speed, fuck, you were just so privileged. And it's like, now I'm looking at people, they're doing 6.5K days. We've got people cracking 40K months. We've got hivers absolutely dominating it. And I haven't even mentioned what that is in this video. The hive mind is essentially all the Onlyfans training along with e-commerce and everything else. But it's my community. So it's a big Discord group as well as a Facebook group. We've got over 400 something members now of people, and you just chat with each other and we trade tips and we all grow and we hustle down. So the link for that's down in the description. That was a smooth ass plug, but the link for that's there. I highly recommend you get in because you're going to cut the learning curve massively. But essentially OnlyFans as an agency is you just need to find girls, which there's different ways to do, and know how to provide value. And if you're a creator in OnlyFans, all you're doing, okay, is essentially selling raunchy content, doing it in a way that maximizes the amount of money you make, and at the same time provide the most value to customers. And that can be mathematically calculated. You can calculate or break that down into an exact formula of what value is. And I have done that. I know it sounds like a hive plug nonstop, but I show you in the hive exactly what is value, okay? What are the components of value and how can you over provide value, which will keep people coming back and make you the most amount of money. Now, also boys, do not be starting this business without some form of contract in place, okay? You will get rinsed in the long run. Have a contract in place. Not for the fact that you're going to follow anything up legally. If someone doesn't want to work with you anymore, don't be a cunt like, yeah, I'm going to threaten legal action and blah, blah, blah. Just focus your attention elsewhere. You should have been prepared enough that you shouldn't even have to worry about that issue. 99% of threats that people make legally, okay, they're like, oh, fuck, it's bullshit. The people that are serious with legal matters, you don't hear anything, and then you just get a letter of whatever, a cease and desist, a letter of demand, or whatever it is from their lawyers. They're the serious people. So when it comes to having a contract in place, it just makes it more transparent so that it never has to come to that stage. You can say, hey, look, that we had this written down on the contract. Did something change? Do you not like it anymore? Like, what's going on? Why do you all of a sudden want to change? And you come from this place of like, look, this is what we've agreed on. What's changed? And when you come from that place of empathy as well, and they can say, well, I just, I don't understand the value. You can say, okay, well, that's fine. Let us break down like what exactly it is we do again and show you why we're valuable to you. Okay? And you should be not angry at people for this. You should be understanding that that's a key part of business. And it's when you take extreme accountability, it's your fault, okay, for them getting to the point where they think you're providing no value. You should be maybe sending out constant reminders. Maybe it's saying, okay, maybe it's an update. We replied to 418 messages this week that saved you. Maybe you have a template and you say, we replied to 418 messages. Each message duration was around 6 to 15 minutes. We saved you this much time this week and made you this much money. It's like when you're constantly sending out these things, okay, and then there's different systems you put in place, like the money shouldn't go to the girl first, it should come to the agency, and then you give out your 50%, and that's just understanding a little bit of psychology. You can make a shit ton of money, is essentially what this video is about. Now, today's podcast has been like more feely. We've got to break down more of like a story between how quick things can change, and I really want, if you're looking into the OnlyFans business or any business, today's video is more so about just don't give up. I'm trusting in you. Like, I've got faith that you're going to do it, and it really hits home because one of the members inside the hive is actually a moderator now, Jordan, okay? I don't think I've told his story on YouTube. I was commenting in a Facebook group to do with e-commerce because I can't remember what I was doing. I was chatting, it was a Grant Cardone group. It was something to do with Grant Cardone. I was commenting in there. I can't remember what I was commenting for. And we just hit like 1.265 million sales on the pet bed store, me and Adam. So I posted something to do with that, or something like someone said, oh, I need help with this. And I was like, bro, I'll help you. And they said, like, how do I know you're credible? And I wasn't even charging. And I was just like, well, we did this on this store, and my other store is like 90% profit margin, and it's no paid traffic, and it's made 150K this year. And this kid Jordan messaged, and I can't remember how the conversation went, but he asked for help with something, and I was like, bro, like I'm running like a beta test because so many people had asked me at that stage for marketing advice, and I'd made like a mini marketplace series, and I was like, bro, I'll give it to you. I think I was charging $500. And he's like, oh, I don't have 500. And I was like, bro, just give me 99. Don't tell anyone. I can see you're a young ass kid. I can't remember, he was like 16 or something. And I was like, bro, just, there you go. And I remember him he told me his mum said she thought it was a scam because she'd never seen anything like that online. And anyway, he bought it from me, and I was like, great work, bro. He posted up some drones or something within the space of a few hours. And he messaged me back the next day, bro, I've already made $140. I've already made, I can't remember the exact amount, but he's like, I already made $100-something. And he's like, this can't be real. Like, is the money for real? And I was like, what do you mean is the money for real? They paid your PayPal. This is how dropshipping works. And then it went on and went on. And then he sold drones and made a few thousand in a day in a ring. And it went on and it went to whatever he was doing. Okay. And then his mum messaged me and commented on a thing like, oh my God, you've changed their life. Da, 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 da. But I just want you to know, like, that was a few years ago now, and that was the very beginning. And to see where we are now, like, just even watch these kids grow. And I don't know why I take a fond to some individuals. You know, if you see how lit up my message request box gets on Instagram, you would understand why I don't reply to all my messages. To see how quick things progress, and for other people, I want you to understand that if you don't give up, you'll always win. If you just never give up, you'll always win. And I'm keen to use this video as a reference point when I hit like 100K a month on this particular business and it's automated, and I'm just like, well, I did hit it. I did. Maybe it was a year ago that I predict, but maybe it's 2 or 3 years from now, and it takes twice as long as I thought. But I'm like, he was right. Again, more confidence. Recorded on video. So that's all for today. Don't give up. Get out there and fucking crush it. Hit subscribe if you haven't if you're not even going to pay for anything and you're going to leech content, at least hit subscribe so you're notified, and hit the bell, okay? And if you really want to accelerate the time that it takes you to earn money and you want to fast track everything, join the fucking Hive Mind. The link's down below, okay? Instant access to our entire community. 400 plus fucking members now. I'm going to put the price up at, I think, 500. I was going to do it at either 400 or 500, but we crossed the 400 milestone so quick. When we hit 500, I'm putting the price up for new members. The earlier you get in, the lower the price stays, and your price stays the same every single month. So that's it. Next video to film, I'm doing reaction videos now as well on Onlyfans. So I go over girls' Onlyfans tips, and we break down whether they're legit or full of shit. So that's it for today. I'll see you all tomorrow. Fuck that.